Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome to a bonus episode of Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at quite a number of things. The first thing we're going to be taking a look at is the gallery. Remember in the beginning of the game, we came here to the gallery and we saw a bunch of empty photos on the wall. There was nothing in any of these frames. Well, now that we captured every single portrait ghost in the game, we can look at the other portraits here. Each one of these ghost portraits actually will change depending on the rank that you have for each portrait ghost. Bronze frames mean they'll be sad to be back in their paintings. Silver frames mean that they're getting more comfortable with it, so they'll look a little happier. And gold frames mean that they are happy to be back in their paintings and will look the best. So these paintings can look different depending on your ranking. If you want to see the differences in all these paintings, I recommend that you look them up online because there are a lot of different outcomes to these paintings. There are 3 different looks per portrait ghost, so that's a lot of differences. What I'm doing here is I'm going through and showing off every single portrait that we have from this file, which was the one that we had from the Let's Play. Now also I do want to make an apology for this because this bonus episode I kind of want to have just release this not too long after the playthrough was done. But there was a lot of stuff that got in the way, so unfortunately, this video got pushed back. But luckily, we were able to cover everything that I want to look at here for the bonus episode of Luigi's Mansion. This is not the only thing I'm going to be doing, but the majority of the beginning of this video is really just looking at all the portrait ghost stuff. You can also see here in the gallery now, and I'll be taking a look at it after I'm done looking at all the pictures. You can actually see the picture of Luigi's new mansion, which is weird because at this point in the game's file, you can go back through the mansion and replay the entire game, which I'll be going over later in this video. And you can see Luigi's new mansion there, all nicely built, and then you still have the old one just right there in front of this gallery area. It's a little inconsistent when you think of it in that sense. It's like these paintings are like time travel proof or something. It's hard to explain, but it's game logic really. But the King Boo and Bowser portrait gets their own special room since this is the big boss of the game. This is the one that you've been working towards for a very long time, so it gets its own special little frame, and I do like that. I like how it gets its own golden room in the back. It looks pretty nice. If you take a look at this picture right next to EGAD, that will be the picture of your final mansion along with your final money count. So that right there shows the high score for this said file. So since I got 123 million gold, that's what it'll show there. One thing I haven't been looking at throughout the playthrough is I haven't been looking at one of the modes in the Game Boy Horror. If you press the Z button, you'll get information on your totals. And if you go over to the other menu using the right stick, then you will actually see that there are all of our portrait ghosts in here with their information. Just browse through these and you'll be able to see their age, their details, and their names. So if you ever want to know more information about the portrait ghosts, once you capture them, just go ahead and check their information on the Game Boy Horror here because they're pretty detailed and I like a lot of these descriptions that the portrait ghosts have. They're very nice, descriptive, and they have some good humor in some of these as well, which I do like this one here from Mr. Lugs. This one here says that the guy ate himself to death. So that one's descriptive, tells you how he died. But then we have other ones where we have like the one for a piano lady. That one says that, oh, she oddly likes video game music, which kind of hints at just her question thing of, here I'm playing 2 Mario Brother themes really. It's nice to see stuff like that. And like I said, I like the humor with the one with Nana, and now stretches to 871 feet for her yarn. Like that's pretty hilarious when you think about that. So these are nice little distractions to read. I do like the descriptions for these guys, but I normally don't check this mode on the Game Boy Horror because it's a nice little distraction, yes, but that's about it. There's not much else to this mode. It doesn't tell you their weaknesses before you catch them. You only get the information on these portrait ghosts once you capture them in said file. In fact, I needed to actually check all this information out before I beat King Boo in the playthrough. If I didn't do this, then right now checking through all this information in the Game Boy Horror, it wouldn't be here. It'd all be white. That's because when you beat the game the first time, your save file now has a number 1 on it. And as you can tell, we're back down to square one, 0 gold. This file is brand new, and it has a new mode called the Hidden Mansion. What Hidden Mansion mode is basically a new game plus mode to the game. In Hidden Mansion mode, you go back into the entire game, you go through the entire mansion fighting all the same ghosts, and now your vacuum is stronger, enemies will do more damage to you, and there'll be more money dropped. So in the PAL version of the game, this was the only way for you to actually get the best ranking in the game. You had to play in the Hidden Mansion mode. There was not enough money in the standard mode of the game in order for you to get the best rank. So the remainder of this video, we're actually going to be taking a look at the PAL version's Hidden Mansion mode. Because you see, in the American version, I pretty much just stated everything that's going on with the Hidden Mansion mode there. It's basically just a tiny bit more difficult, your vacuum does more damage, and there's more money. That's the only difference. But in the PAL mode, we have a lot more differences. Everything that I mentioned about Hidden Mansion still applies, but now the game is mirrored. Every single room in the game is now mirrored, so they're in opposite places on the mansion. Another thing is the rooms are darker, so now it's a lot harder to see what you're doing. So because of this, you're probably going to have a harder time looking around the rooms in the dark, especially if you're not familiar with the game. And they throw different kinds of ghosts at you in this one too. For example, in the beginning of the game, you normally just see a bunch of the yellow ghosts, but in the PAL version's Hidden Mansion mode, you'll see more than just the yellow ghosts in the beginning of the game. They'll throw a lot more stuff at you. They'll throw purple punchers, they'll throw out the blue guys, they'll throw out anything that they want really, and there'll be more ghosts in these rooms to compensate for it as well. There is just a lot more to the PAL mode's Hidden Mansion. It's ridiculous. Luigi's Mansion was released in 2001 for Japan and North America. PAL users didn't get this game until 2002, so those few extra months this game wasn't out, Nintendo decided to change up some things about the Hidden Mansion mode, and that is why we have the biggest difference here between the Japanese, North American versions compared to the PAL versions of this game. That few months of extra development time gave the team enough time to actually change things about the Hidden Mansion mode and make it more difficult. Now instead of Hidden Mansion just being a more difficult experience by just toning up the damage ratio on enemies, along with just giving you some more money drops, now we mirror the game and we make a lot more changes to the game that will make it more difficult, and the boss fights are another example. I'm just showing 2 bosses off for this one. I'm showing off Chauncey and Boolossus because these two I believe have the biggest differences between the North American and Japanese versions of the game compared to the PAL version game. Now there is a difference in both the Bogmire and the King Boo fight. In this version of the game, it's mainly difficulty, which is really why I don't bother showing it off in this video. There's no real need to, honestly. But here you'll notice that I'm able to do a lot more damage to Chauncey right away because my vacuum has more suction power. But then once Chauncey breaks free of the grasp of the vacuum cleaner, he stomps around really, really fast. As you remember in the playthrough, Chauncey didn't do this. This is one of the changes that they made to the boss fight in the PAL version's Hidden Mansion mode. And another thing that you can see is the rocking horses that he's throwing at us aren't going straight, they're going crooked now. That's different too, so this boss fight is a lot harder because of that. And it's a lot harder to get the good rankings on these bosses here too because of this. So the Hidden Mansion mode here just requires a lot more skill in order to get through compared to what we got here in the States. It is really, really interesting to see a lot of these differences, and I do think that this Hidden Mansion mode in the PAL version is a lot better than what we got. I liked how we can get more money in our version. It's nice that the enemies can do more damage to us, so it's at least somewhat more of a challenge, but the game, for the most part, is unaltered. The PAL version, on the other hand, greatly altered, and I believe that this alteration just makes the game a lot more fun. Take the Boolossus fight here, for example. In standard game, you will be chasing this guy around with your poltergeist, trying to force him into all these ice unicorns, basically. In the PAL version, on the other hand, you're not running around doing this, you're riding your poltergeist. This is a really fun fight when you're riding around the poltergeist. It feels like you're moving around on ice though, because it's really hard to control, but it's a lot of fun to do. I really like the change to this boss fight. It's very unique, and it makes the fight a lot more fun, but also a lot more challenging, because like I said, it's very hard to control yourself when you're going around with ice physics, basically. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to control and be accurate with. And trying to grab Boolossus just to push him into the unicorn, not easy to do, because you're moving around all the time with this thing. It's ridiculous. I'm not exactly sure why Luigi all of a sudden decided, you know what, I should ride the poltergeist around. I'm not sure why he thought this was a good idea, but it's pretty fun, especially when you're going all around the map like this. It's so fun to do. Can't get enough of it, honestly. Now, I do want to also talk about this, because this boss fight's going to go on for a while. I wanted to lead the entire fight in, because this fight here is probably the most unique thing about the Hidden Mansion mode here in the PAL version. But I did want to talk about the fact that I actually did a live stream of the entire PAL Hidden Mansion mode's playthrough. That's where this footage is coming from. If you want to see the entire playthrough, go ahead and just look in the Luigi's Mansion Let's Plays playlist. You'll see it there, because I uploaded that entire stream to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this the day that this video comes out, just give that video a few more minutes, because there's a lot of processing a 4-hour video has. But that's the entire playthrough. If you want to go ahead and watch that, just go to the Luigi's Mansion playlist on my channel. You'll see it there. I also highlighted it on Twitch. If you already seen it, you've probably seen it from Twitch, because I streamed that quite some time ago. Like I said, I had a lot of problems with this one, so getting this video up right away was a little challenging. That stream actually happened sometime in January, and here we are in March at the time I'm uploading this video, so it's been almost 2 months, honestly. So that's not a good thing, but it's there. If you want to watch the entire playthrough, I upload the stream highlight of it, so if you want to watch it, just go ahead, check it out in the playlist. But I do want to mention, because you're moving around all the time with the poltergeist, it's a lot harder to be accurate here. So you're going to have a lot of issues now where you're trying to hit that last ghost. Can't really do it all that easily, because it's hard to be accurate with this thing. You're moving around all the time, and since that control is very slippery, you're probably just going to end up activating your poltergeist just to stop it, only so you can slow down ever so slightly. Doing that will slow you down a bit, which will make it a little bit easier for you to actually hit one of these boos, which are ice. Although it does look very funny just to see Luigi pull out the poltergeist when he's trying to use it, because he puts it back on his back for a split second, and then he rides it again. It makes no sense, and you know that this was such a last-minute decision probably in development. They didn't have a proper animation for him to start suction while riding the poltergeist. They just did this for fun. So it looks pretty odd when you see it that way. But when you're down to one last boo, this is what I didn't really show off all that well in the Let's Play, because I got lucky and the final boo just kind of ran into the ice. But here, this is what normally happens. You'll have one last boo left, you're trying to catch him, and he just runs around like crazy, never gets close to you, and you just have a very hard time trying to catch this final boo without taking massive loads of damage. So in the end here, I just decide, let's just spin around. This is so much fun. This is more fun than the actual boss fight. I get distracted real easily when I'm riding on a vacuum cleaner. Don't judge me. But like I said before, I can't get enough of just riding around the poltergeist. I just kind of wish, like thinking about it in one of the Mario Kart games, I wish this was one of the customizable carts that you can have. That'd be hilarious, just to drive around using the poltergeist. I mean, if you can do that, that'd be an instant buy for me for one of the Mario Kart games. That'd be amazing to do. But we should be able to catch the boo right now, actually. There we go. Kind of got lucky with him because he kind of flew into the vacuum. Not just towards the shot, but he flew into it. One last thing I want to talk about with this Hidden Mansion playthrough here is that the boos kind of change up on their health and their speeds. This one right here is the bane of my existence that's in that clock room. He goes so fast, and he's really hard to catch. And trying to catch this boo will just make you go insane.
Move fast, Sonic the Boo Hog.
Oh my!
Luigi never lasts. Sonic the Boo Hog. Sonic, he can really boo. Sonic, he's got spectral tattoos. Sonic, he's the fastest boo alive.
I like the
Also
special
a
tattoo
Danky
part.
King. He's also a boo. Danky King. He can really groove.
Ampersand help. I know we don't have much help
Okay.
I can give here, but kinda need it.
Okay. Hold on.
Cause he's the first
Matt,
member of
shut
the
up.
Danky King.
Shut up.
Oh.
Now the one last thing I want to talk about here with the Hidden Mansion playthrough on the PAL version that's kind of weird is once you clear an area, you'll be going through, putting back all your portrait ghosts into the machine, they're turning back in the paintings like always. Then at the end, when they get to the tally screen, they take it from mirror mode to normal mode, so it looks very jarring, and it's really obvious to see they just flipped the entire game, just like how they did with Twilight Princess from GameCube to Wii. But as you see there, I got 150 million by the end of that PAL mode Hidden Mansion playthrough. That was enough to get the gold rank, and that right there shows the money difference too in between each versions. I got a lot more diamonds there than I did playing the normal game. That's one thing they changed about this Hidden Mansion mode on the PAL version. They added different jewels in different locations. So instead of getting a sapphire in this one location, for example, they can change that out with a diamond, and I did that a lot throughout the game. So your money amounts get boosted up because of gems, not just because of more coins getting dropped, but because of the gems being different now too. But that's everything I wanted to cover for Luigi's Mansion. Hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough as much as I did. Sorry that this video took a while for me to get all put together, but there was a lot of extra stuff I had to do with this one, and a lot of technical issues came in the way, and I do apologize for that. With that said, hope everyone enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.